Introduction to algorithm. 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 Introduction to algorithm introduction to algorithm introduction to algorithm introduction to algorithm introduction to algorithm